All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, we are back again on the other side of the coin. Double stream today. That's not always a normal thing on the other side of the coin. Definitely because of the timing matters. Obviously, as you guys all know, me living in Australia, it does get a bit difficult. But I thought that today is the day where we need to do this because news is just buzzing. You know what the crazy part is? Before I introduce my guest, and we've got some special guests here, obviously, to the live chat, is that literally we had this particular show probably organized a few days ago. And at that moment, it was all about Erling Haaland. And if anything, the Lukaku situation didn't look that great. And I was telling PYS that, man, do you think it's going to be good to talk about the Lukaku news when it's not hot? And for some reason, it didn't happen on that particular day, and it's happening now. And here we are. It's all about Romelu Lukaku. And I could not have asked for a better time. First of all, Sven, my man, how you doing?
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you for having me. And yes, like you say, it's Lukaku is all over the place, not only in Belgium, but yeah, the entire Europe is talking about it. So I'm pleased to join this.
Brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, just quickly, Sven is a Belgian journalist, does a lot of good work over there. Check out the socials in the description right now. Sven's Twitter is literally, I've got the link there, and his website as well. The link is right there. Check out some of his work. He covers a lot of the Belgian, footballers news as well. So it's going to be very interesting to hear from him exactly what he feels, what he knows about the whole Romelu Lukaku situation. It's a hot topic at the moment. PYS, my man, I don't think anyone is covering Chelsea transfer news the way you are. I think you're doing a much better job than Fabrizio Romano in regards to gathering all these news all over the place. My man has things.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm trying to gather all the latest updates. It's just the whole Lukaku situation has moved so fast over the last 48 hours. Like, it's been crazy. So yeah, it'd be good to not only talk about that, but also, other Belgian players as well with Sven today. So it's going to be interesting for sure, yeah.
100%. Ladies and gentlemen, massive shout out to PYS as well. Check out his socials in the description. I mean, PYS, ladies and gentlemen, finds stuff from places you won't even expect, and he goes and starts digging in Instagram, starts digging all over the place and collates everything in the one page. So it's fantastic. We've literally got over 50 people live after 2 minutes. Smash the like button. As I've always said, the likes are directly correlated in the growth of this channel. We are going mad at the moment, close to 7,000, getting closer and closer to 7,000 subscribers. So help the channel out in that perspective. Smash the like button. All right, let's get straight into it. Massive shout out to all the people in the live chat as well. I will go through with shouting you out down the track as well. Sven, let's get straight into this particular topic. Literally, as PY said, it's moved so quick, this particular news. I mean, probably 4 or 5 days ago, we heard that apparently Chelsea did bid for Lukaku. Inter rejected it, and also Romelu Lukaku himself rejected it, and he said that he's quite comfortable being at Inter Milan and he's not really looking forward, looking at a return back. And we all know the video. I believe it was an interview in Belgium, literally not that long ago, about a month or maybe a month and a half ago,
before the Euros.
Just before the Euros, when Inter Milan announced a new manager of Inzaghi. And he said that I've had conversations with Inzaghi and I feel quite comfortable. I would like to stay. He literally said that. So, Sven, from your perspective, the madness that has happened over the last 24 hours. I mean, what's your take into all of this?
Yeah, like you said, before the Euros, he had personal contact already with Inzaghi before he signed officially. So, he said he had a good connection with the coach, so nothing was happening. It was all clear that he was going to stay. And then the last couple of days, everything has changed. Like PAS said, it's, every 2 hours there's a new update. And you also see that about all the information that is leaking out now. Also, Inter is looking for replacements. What are they doing? New bids. So everything is leaking out. So there's something big going on. A lot of people are involved. That's also the reason why a lot of information is is going to be leaked. Also, a lot of journalists on Twitter now have updates every 2 or 3 hours. So there's a lot of things going on, and you can't say that there isn't happening a thing. So I will see. It's a bit of a surprise. I didn't expect it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know Chelsea was, of course, his big dream to play there. He did it once, and I was also a bit surprised. Also, the people in Belgium that I think it's really going to happen. To be honest.
Wow. So people in Belgium really now starting to believe that this is probably in the cards, because what I understood, Sven, literally, as I said, not that long ago, that he was quite happy. So what has really changed in the last few days about this whole situation?
Yeah, that's also for me the case. You can't say it's money, of course. He has already all the money that he has. He played at Man United, so it's difficult. Is it still his win maybe to win a trophy at Chelsea, win the Premier League? Is that maybe an aim for him? I don't know. He didn't do that in the past, so he now became champion in Italy. So you can't do even better with Inter, also with the financial problems. Is that maybe the case? That he really he can leave. Of course, it's a huge blow for Inter, but they can use the money. Everyone knows that. So and also maybe I think it's only on sportive that he wants to be back at Chelsea and then try it a second time in his career. Why not?
No, fair point. PYS, let's hear what you have to say, my man. I mean, look, we were sold the Erling Haaland dream, man. I mean, that was the dream that was getting sold very, very strongly in social media, everywhere you looked. There was also rumors that we were lining up a bid or so-called bid. As you know, CFC News page not that long ago put out that it was going to be 130 million bid. And if that was going to get rejected, there was 150 million bid that was lined up. Jan Age Voigthoff continuously kept on saying that a mad bid was going to get this done. And it all looked like it was going towards Erling Haaland's way. And I know, of course, Romelu Lukaku was an alternative, but did you think that it was going to move in this particular fashion? Are you still in the belief that Erling Haaland's situation is not dead, or are you in the belief that that's probably done and dusted and it's all about Romelu Lukaku now?
Yeah, I do believe that it's all about Lukaku now at the moment. Sort of information from Jan Fjorthoff, who is obviously very close to the Haaland camp as well. He was saying, Dortmund have done this before with Lewandowski. Even though it doesn't really make sense from a financial standpoint, the fact that they could get, almost double the money or treble the money this summer from Chelsea compared to his release clause next summer, it's just what they do sometimes. They are very, they're not budging. They clearly. He's too important. They've already sold one star in Sancho, so I think the Lukaku obviously was always the second choice. The Athletic have been very consistent on that, and Matt Law as well. He's been on holiday, right? But he came back with a complete bombshell yesterday, saying Lukaku is now top of the radar. And within that night, we'd found out about a bid that has been rejected, and then today's really where it's properly blew up, right? Because all the news is that we're going back in. Marzio said that it could be in the next few hours, this bid. And there's just been so many reports from Italy that, he's open to leaving, or, it will be all about his family that decides. Like, there's so many conflicting reports. But the general consensus is that, in the end, Chelsea will hopefully agree a fee with them. I do believe we will. I think we are determined to sign Lukaku. We need a world-class striker. There's 3 on the market probably, but I only count 2. Harry Kane is one of them, right? But for Chelsea, it's almost impossible because it's London rivals. Daniel Levy is a very, very hard negotiator. So, I do believe Lukaku will end up happening. I think it's one of those things that's kind of fate, right? 10 years or so after he left, the Super Cup as well. I've seen people make this comparison as well. The Super Cup, he missed the penalty and then got sold, right? Yeah. What's coming up next week? The Super Cup.
Super Cup.
So it's almost like it could be fate. It could be meant to be. So, we'll see what happens in the next sort of, I don't even know. It could be in the next hour, 2 hours, 10 hours. I don't know. It's going to be crazy.
No, it's absolutely mad. We will delve deeper into this whole situation, but I want to ask Sven, one of the questions that's getting floated around from the Chelsea fan base, what they're saying is Romelu Lukaku has always been a player that wants to be appreciated as the number 1 selection. He's always wants to be loved. That's why he's enjoyed being at Inter Milan. That's why he's enjoyed being under Antonio Conte, because he gets the love, and he's that kind of a player. he doesn't want to be anyone's side dish. He wants to be the main dish. I mean, clearly he would have seen in social media from a Chelsea perspective as well how much Chelsea was after Erling Haaland. I mean, from that perspective, do you think that matters at all from Romelu Lukaku, or does he not care about these things anymore? Because it kind of felt like the last time when we were in this situation where Antonio Conte wanted him at Chelsea, he was quoted to say in an interview that Chelsea did not show enough interest. That's why he ended up going to Man United. He didn't find enough love. So what's going on now this time around, Sven?
Yeah. It's indeed true that Lukaku needs a lot of love. You also see that with the Belgian national team. It was also a bit of a bad relationship with the fans. Then it was good, and then the last couple of years is the best striker in the world for our country. So everyone really loves him at this moment. But to be honest, you don't know what happened at Inter. Maybe there's something happening in the last few weeks ago at Inter. So you don't know. We don't know yet those details. And in my opinion, there has to be something why he is going to leave. Otherwise, Chelsea won't bid a first time, a second time, maybe a third time. So there must be something going on that he wants to leave. And Chelsea is in his heart. Everyone knows that. He played there, a good relationship with Eden Hazard, Thibaut Courtois, the other Belgians at that moment. So I think it's just unfinished business at Chelsea, because it's just, for sports, he wants to perform and indeed win trophies at Chelsea. I think that is still one of his dreams. I just saw a video a few hours ago. For the first time, he visited Stamford Bridge as a child. So he said, I wanted to succeed here. And in my opinion, it's unfinished business. And now with this chance, he wants to, do it now for Chelsea. And we will see. Like I said, I think this is going to happen because everything is leaking out. New strikers, Inter are looking for new strikers, and that's so much going on at the moment. Also, the Athletic, we know their reputation is also really good. So, to be honest, I also saw, I think POS also posted it, that the agent of Romelu Lukaku is of course a big Chelsea fan, and he also wants to earn some money, of course. It's football nowadays, so and I also read some stories about Lukaku's mother. So yes, she will give her approval, but of course it's still Romelu Lukaku who decides, of course, and it's a family who, of course, has earned a lot of money during the last years, of course. So they don't need, of course, the money. So it's only on it's just about performing and winning trophies.
No, 100%. I want to get your perspective on this next question, and I'll ask the same thing to PYS, see what he has to say about this. Sven, you mentioned that Chelsea's gone back to Inter Milan repeatedly. Looks like it was the first attempt, second attempt, and now finally it's going to be the third attempt. I think apparently the second attempt, it was cash plus Marcos Alonso, because Inter Milan was kind of interested in that. They rejected that, but now the third attempt looks like it's going to be hard cash, a lot of money. And Inter, we know the financial situations they're in. They could possibly be persuaded with this particular thing. But Sven, I want to ask you this. Apparently Chelsea, they don't put a bid if they don't think it's going to be accepted. So what is with this first bid, second bid, and now the third bid? I mean, how much of it do you believe that this is what's been happening in the background? Generally, we've received news not that long ago that Chelsea will not bid for Erling Haaland until they know that it's going to be accepted. So why is it different in Lukaku's case, where literally there's been 2 rejections?
It's Romelu Lukaku has given the green light for Chelsea. Otherwise, they won't bid and do it 2 times or a third time. So Romelu Lukaku has certainly say, "I want to come," and try to fix something with Inter. I'm sure about it. I've done a lot of big transfer stories already with Premier League clubs, and it's the player who decide. And if he said, "I want to go," then the clubs are going to talk. Otherwise, they won't do it. So. Yeah, and I think Romelu Lukaku, like I said, he is just given the green light, and then both teams will come to a result. And like you said, cash plus players, that doesn't work in modern football. Agents want to earn a lot of money, and that's only when the transfer fee is really high. So they don't want any other players involved, and other agents, other clubs, other agents with mandatories for other clubs. So that's a big that's big. Yeah, that's really difficult to work with. So they only want hard cash, and everyone knows that. So with other players, I don't believe in it. So it's also a lot of talk that player can go to that club, and then we can give him a loan and things like that. But the last couple of years, you see that in modern football, it's not happening anymore. All the clubs need hard cash, and definitely now with the COVID year. So that's also the case now with Romelu Lukaku. It will only be him for cash.
Yeah, fair points. I can see the live chat going mad. Apparently, Thiago Silva's wife has posted something on Instagram. I literally, I haven't been able to just check up on it. Just let me know. PYS, what do you see, man? Let us know about this Instagram story a little bit.
It's just basically, Thiago Silva was scrolling on his phone, and on one of the Instagram posts, it was an edit of Lukaku, and he scrolled past it. So that's why people are just, they're pausing the screenshot and saying, oh my God. But he literally just scrolled past it. So it was obviously something on the timeline about an edit. Yeah, it was a picture of him in a Chelsea shirt. So yeah.
Interesting, man. People doing mad things like you're doing, PYS, man. You're just getting news from all over the place. PYS, I want to ask you the same question as well. But before we do that, Nicholas Stefanovic, thank you so much for the super chat, my man. Are you confident that we will sign Lukaku? I mean, the news at the moment is mad, Nicola. The way it's moving, it seems like Lukaku is just around the corner. But I'm still just checking this out until we hear here we go from Fabrizio Romano or an official sort of announcement. I think Matt Law is a big factor. He knows about these sort of stories about Chelsea quicker than most people do, and it'll be very, very interesting to monitor what Matt Law's doing in the next few hours, next couple of days. So we'll see what happens in that perspective. PYS, I want to ask you, my man, the same question that I asked Sven as well. We were under the impression that a bid would not be sent in if we don't feel that it's going to be accepted. But it doesn't seem like the case for Romelu Lukaku. What's your thoughts on about this particular situation?
Yeah, so I kind of thought about this last night. There's almost two theories that I think that could have happened here that, I think basically the first one is obviously, like Sven said, maybe potentially Chelsea have got the green light. That's the most feasible, thing, because otherwise, why would you really bid 2-3 times if you've not had assurances from his agent or his camp that, he wouldn't be open to a move. You wouldn't do it otherwise, would you? So the only other thing I could think of is that maybe if it wasn't that Chelsea are obviously bidding high because they're making public formal offers to show Lukaku how much we want him. Because as you said, Lukaku is a player that he wants to feel loved, he wants to feel wanted, and by making these public bids, it does show that. So it shows a statement of intent. Look, we really want you. So it's probably one of those two things. But I do believe that we've had assurances from his camp. Somewhere along the line, we've been told, if you do come in for Lukaku, he would be open to joining. And it kind of makes sense, right? Because the Athletic reported a few months ago, actually, that the one club that he would move into for is Chelsea. That was literally the only club. So it does make sense that we've had assurances from his camp. Otherwise, I just don't think we'd waste our time on bidding these ridiculous figures if we didn't think a deal could be done.
Nah, man, that does make sense from that explanation that you provided. That something in the background was probably happening, and they could feel that it was getting closer and closer, and that's probably why these bids were probably going through. Sven, I want to now ask you get deeper into this whole situation about not just the price, but let's actually talk about the price. Let's start from that perspective. We're getting some news from Inter Milan that I think approximately somewhere around £102 million is the latest sort of amount that's getting thrown around. Recently, it was about I think £85 million plus Alonso that wasn't accepted, but somewhere around 102 million seems to be maybe break Inter Milan's back and probably get them to open up. But I want to hear from your perspective, and obviously I know you're from the Belgian background. You may be having a bit of bias towards Lukaku, but from a sporting perspective, is someone like Lukaku at 102 million still worth it when you know you could essentially put maybe another 50 million and get the Erling Haaland deal done? When you look at it from that perspective, that Erling Haaland is still, I think, 20. He's young. He's looking like a blockbuster striker. He's doing madness in Champions League. No disrespect to Lukaku. Lukaku is still a phenomenal player, but he is 28. He's 8 years older. Whereas with someone like Erling Haaland, I don't even think he's reached his peak, and he's still such a superb striker. So do you think this particular financial sort of bid or offer makes sense? Or do you think it's because it's just a bit too complicated with Mino Raiola to deal with for Erling Haaland?
Yeah, I think that's what you said is second. It's also with Mino Raiola. You don't know which deal he has made for the player to put him at Dortmund, because don't forget that was also a very strange deal. It was only for 30 million or something like that, but you don't know what are the add-ons and what is going on with the next fee and things like that. So a lot of things already have been arranged with Dortmund. So maybe he can't even go to Chelsea. You don't know what Mino Raiola has fixed, because everyone knows that there was a lot of deals going on at that moment, because Dortmund paid only 30 million, I guess. So, and that was way too low for that amount at a very young age. So, and now also with Romelu Lukaku, 100 million. Yeah, I think, I speak in euros, of course, not in pounds. I'm from Belgium, so sorry if I have other numbers for you, for your listeners. But I think that's a correct price for him at the moment. He also played, very good Euros with Belgium, and he was the best player in Italy, so better than Ronaldo. Scored more goals, the top scorer. So it's a lot of money, of course, and the market has really exploded the last couple of years. Thus, of course, I agree that's too much money, of course, for one player. But at this moment, he's in the best year of his career, so 28. So I think it could be a good job for Chelsea. And don't forget, in the past, also Real Madrid paid 100 million for Eden Hazard. So it's just But if you can sell shirts, and if you win prizes, then those players they're legends forever. So and also Chelsea will of course buy some sympathy with the fans with bringing him back. That's no doubt.
No, 100%. I think in terms of recouping the money, that shouldn't be a problem at all. Chelsea fan base will go mad for a player like Romelu Lukaku. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get his shirt. So the merchandise is going to be off the charts. Sven, before I go to PYS to ask this particular question, you've mentioned that Romelu Lukaku, we've talked about this, that Romelu Lukaku has said no all along, and he said that he was going to stay at Inter Milan. Do you think it could be also a tactic from Romelu Lukaku that I never said I wanted to leave, and if Inter Milan accepts the bid, well then fine, they're the ones who are telling me that I can leave, and then I can go and choose Chelsea. Do you think that's a bit of a tactical policy that, hey, I never asked to leave, Inter's the one who's selling me, and I'm okay to leave to Chelsea? Do you think that could have been a bit of a policy that's why he was kind of saying that he's okay to stay at Inter Milan?
I understand what you're saying. That was also the case with Thibaut Courtois. Also, the Chelsea fans, they sometimes say on Twitter that he's a snake. And it's always better to leave with a good image for every fan. But it's football. It's every player can be sold every year to your sometimes your rivals. So it's really difficult. So, and I understand that. But Romelu Lukaku, I think he did a good job. He really wanted to stay, but like I said, you don't know what happened between the Euros and after the Euros and when he said that. So those weeks in between, I'm very curious what has happened there. So also with his agent. So, and I think his agent has got the green light from Chelsea that they want to bid, and then his agent has worked on Romelu Lukaku to maybe try something else and do a comeback at Stamford Bridge. So but we will see in the future. At this moment, it's still guessing for a lot of people, but that something is happening and maybe will happen. I'm sure.
No, fair enough. PYS, I want to ask you the same thing as well. Do you think that this has been a particular philosophy that's getting floated around, that maybe Lukaku was saying that he's okay to stay at Inter Milan is because he doesn't want to look like the bad person that forced this particular move? But if Inter's the first, particular, I suppose, thing that in this situation says that they're the ones who are okay to sell Lukaku, then it's kind of up to Lukaku then to say, well, you're the one who's letting me go, so I might as well go to Chelsea. Do you think that's kind of the policy that's going around?
Yeah, potentially. I think as well, Inter Milan obviously do have massive financial debt, and obviously they don't want to sell Lukaku, but it's kind of, we might have to force their hand with, the third bid is what is being rumoured. As you said, £102 million. I think it's 120 million euro. I think is being rumoured. That is the figure that apparently, according to Marzio as well, he's said that it's going to be, they'd find that very, very hard to turn down, which basically means, in my eyes, they wouldn't turn it down. That would be the figure. So, I think it's just, we're showing intent, and I think it goes back to the Athletic article again. I think Lukaku, he's always had, unfinished business, has been said at Chelsea. This is his home apart from Anderlecht. Chelsea was where pretty much the first sort of team that showed him love in the first place by signing him. And, I'm sure deep down he has a lot of emotion for Chelsea still. So I feel like this still can happen as long as we pay the figure that they want. And I think as Sven said, I think it has to be straight cash, hard cash. I think players won't work in this. Very rarely you do see players go, even for, these big transfers, like prime example, right? Jules Koundé, who we're interested in, Sevilla, we offered, a good amount, sort of 35 million euro plus. Who was it? Zuma.
Yeah.
Now they're saying they want straight cash. So it's very, very rare that players go into these deals. I think we tried with Alonso because Inter Milan have always held an interest in him, especially playing, left wing back and Zaghi with the wing backs as well. So I think it makes sense. So I can see from a negotiation standpoint why Marina would offer that, but I do feel like it will have to be straight hard cash to get this done.
No, 100. Let's slowly start wrapping this up about Lukaku before we talk about other players as well. Sven, just a final sort of question. I want to get your ultimate sort of feel about the whole situation. I mean, do you really see Lukaku, Lautaro Martinez, who's been rumored to leave Inter Milan as well? Could they possibly just lose all these players and just line up, replacements so quickly with the season just around the corner? They're in the Champions League. They're the Scudetto champions as well. So they will be looking to push forward. New manager. I mean, I from that perspective as well, I'm a little bit confused as to how could you lose both Lautaro Martinez and Lukaku? You've already lost Hakimi as well. I know they're in financial strife, but do you think if they lose Lukaku, then probably Lautaro Martinez stays, or what's your sort of gut feeling about this, and overall feel that whether this transfer to Chelsea from Lukaku to Chelsea will probably happen or not?
Yeah, I think it's like you said, it's the financial market. Everyone knows that Inter really needs the money, so that's also you can negotiate with Inter, so you can buy everything at Inter. That's also the case. So I think when Romelu Lukaku will leave, also other players will leave. When your best man leaves, other players know we have less chance to win every game, so we can have less money every game, So it's going on. Also for other players, they want to leave, of course, and then maybe they have a good offer, so they will go to the technical director and say, "I also have a good offer from 20 million. Can I also leave? You need the budget, you need the money for next year, or to spend it on some debts from the past." So and like maybe to also for your former question with PS, I find it really difficult to say that he doesn't. Yeah, he didn't push for a move, but when you say you give the green light to a club that they can start to that they can negotiate, that's for me also giving a push that you want to leave. Otherwise, you say no, I'm not interested. You don't have to start talking. You don't have to make a bid. But when you make one bid, two bids, and probably make a third bid, then you're pushing for a move, in my opinion. Because to be honest, probably there will be also a personal agreement and then it's only between the clubs. So like I saw on Instagram, the agent is a fan of Inter Milan, of Chelsea, of course. So I don't expect a personal agreement. There will be very soon after the clubs have agreed a fee. So I'm sure of that, and we will see it. It's still happening. Also, the next couple of days, so the 48 hours will be very interesting, and also will Inter play at the Champions League? Will he be on the list? That's also very interesting, and maybe he will be on the list from Chelsea. There's a lot of things can happen in the next week, so I'm really curious. We will be on the FIFA list and on the UEFA list, sorry, and for which club?
100%. It's going to be very, very interesting. PYS, I get your final thoughts on this particular matter. Obviously, Fabrizio Romano, PYS, recently, not that long ago, said that Lukaku is untouchable from Inter Milan. Inter really don't want to lose him. But obviously, talks are moving so wild at the moment. From your perspective, do you think, as Sven said, pretty much everyone's up for sale at Inter Milan, seems like? Do you feel the same as well, that Lautaro Martinez, Lukaku, really doesn't matter? Anyone is up for grabs and no one really is really untouchable at Inter Milan?
Yeah, just on that point, Fabrizio actually addressed that earlier because he did a live stream where he was talking about lots of different things, and people were in the comments, well, Fabrizio, you're a fraud. You said he's untouchable, and he ended up addressing that. He said, I didn't say no chance. I said he's untouchable because when I speak to Inter people, they always say he's not leaving. The beauty of the transfer market is that things can change, guys. So you must understand that. So I actually posted that out. So it's true. They're in debt. Things can change in an instant. This has been 48 hours the last 2 days. Bang. It looks like he's really joining if we put the correct bid in. So it is crazy. It's very crazy. The market's been open 7-8 weeks, and then in 48 hours we're about to hopefully complete the British transfer record fee for a player in the Premier League. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see. But yeah, I do agree with the other players as well. I think once your best player leaves, and Lukaku quite clearly is Inter Milan's best player, then other players will start to consider, because even though they're in the Champions League, what chance have they really got when the likes of Lautaro, maybe Brozovic, they've probably got offers, or maybe will have offers before the end of the window. So to teams that maybe could offer a higher wage and also just a better overall team. And I think that's what Lukaku's looking at it like, right? So he's saying, I love Inter Milan and we're in the Champions League and stuff, but Chelsea, I'm gonna have the chance to win the biggest trophies in football with an amazing young squad, which is probably one of the best projects in football right now. So I can see totally why he would want to come back.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, people talk about smokescreen. I think Romelu Lukaku played the biggest smokescreen game of all time, saying that he's okay to stay at Inter Milan when clearly, probably deep down, he always wanted to come back at Chelsea. And now when the situation has arrived, it seems like it's moving the right way. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what your thoughts are about Romelu Lukaku. We've talked a lot about it. We're going to move on to the next few players. Please smash the like button. We've got over 160 people live. Smash the like button over 100. We're literally about 17 likes away from 100 likes within the first half an hour of this show. Get those likes up. As I've always said, it's directly correlated to the growth of this particular channel, and it exposes the video to far more fans out there. So smash the like button, number one. And number two, if you're here for the first time, subscribe and check out my guests, their socials in the description. Sven, Belgian journalist, his Twitter link is literally in the description, and his website as well. The link is there. Check out some of his work. Sven, let's talk about some of the other players that we have, the Belgian connections that we want to talk about. Michy Batshuayi is the next one. I mean,
not about the Musonda brothers, no?
Yeah, we can talk about Musonda as well.
No. I'm just joking.
I'm pretty sure we'd like to hear what Musonda's up to as well. But Michy Batshuayi has been, I mean, sometimes I have to pinch myself that I can't believe he's still at Chelsea. I mean, it seems like it's been a very difficult career for him at Chelsea. I want to hear from you in details about this. What is it that hasn't really worked out with Michy Batshuayi with Chelsea? Is it the change of managers, or is it that maybe he just doesn't have that extra added quality that Chelsea was probably looking for from a striker? he's been sent around to many different clubs and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the future of Michy Batshuayi, the latest from your perspective?
Yeah, to be honest, after he signed at the Euros 2016, I was really enthusiastic about this move, of course. They signed him for 40 million from Marseille, French club Marseille. I was really excited about that. I also broke that transfer deal on Twitter, so I expected a lot from him, and yeah, no problem. And yeah, I'm really close with his family, and so that's.
Oh wow! Okay,
also,
nice.
That's also why I find it a pity that he didn't succeed and he always had to go on loan. But yeah, to be honest, I don't think he has the quality that Chelsea wanted, and maybe also not for the Premier League. And I think we have to, yeah, you just have to accept that. It's really difficult at the moment. Everyone loves him, of course, with his SpongeBob SquarePants and funny things on social media.
Yeah.
He does that, by the way. He does that on his own. He doesn't have a company for it, so it's really him. It's Michy Batshuayi on Twitter himself. So if people doubt it, it's really him.
I must say he's very, very good on social media. He's very good on social media.
Yeah, yeah. I remember one day I had. Yeah, it was a funny case. He was seen somewhere in a European city. But he was just in a restaurant, and then I texted him and said, "Yeah, can we do a small joke? Because I don't know, he was going to Monaco or things like that. He was seen there with some important agents, of course, but he was just in Brussels eating, and then he posted the picture that he was just eating in Brussels, and yeah, he was already signing at Monaco that afternoon. So it was really funny. So yeah, but like I said, it's really it's a good guy, but yeah, on the pitch he works a lot, but. Yeah, to be honest, I don't think he had all the qualities to play at Chelsea. So, but yeah, after 5 years, I also wanted to talk with his agent tonight, but he didn't answer me. So yeah, I think we can say it's a done case. So he will leave this summer. So I think it will be a permanent deal, not anymore on loan, of course, because it will be his last year of contract. So yeah, it's of course a huge pity for him that it didn't work out at Chelsea, but yeah, it didn't also work out at Dortmund, at Crystal Palace. So there are a lot of clubs. He got a lot of opportunities, and yeah, in football, yeah, after 5 opportunities, that's more than enough. So it's a pity, and I hope he can find a club in another league, probably, because I don't think he's made for the Premier League, but maybe French league or something like that. Go back to France or Germany. So we will see what is going on when there is news. This morning, there was no news about a specific club at the moment talking with Chelsea. So, but I think it will be a case within 2-3 weeks, maybe last couple of days of the transfer market. But yeah, it will certainly happen something. But at the moment, there aren't any rumors, and they didn't want to tell me yet. So, but when there's news, I will tell you guys.
100%. Look, so you're under the understanding that no more loans. This is it. This time around, he will leave. And I think recently I saw something about some Turkish clubs being interested. I mean, did you hear anything from that perspective?
It was rubbish. Yes,
Right.
rubbish. Was nothing, no deal, and also the player don't want to go to Turkey, and there were some rumors that he could return back to Belgium, but that was too soon. His agent told me. So yeah, it will be a bigger league, France, Italy, maybe Germany, but not Turkey. It will be one of the bigger leagues, and yeah, you also see that now at the moment that MLS clubs are paying a lot of money for the Premier League stars, but. Yeah, maybe he will do that. Maybe he finds that interesting. But at this moment, I don't have any information about that. But it will never be Turkey this summer. That is sure.
No, fair enough. PYS, from your perspective, man, I mean, do you think it's time to let go? I mean, we have sent him on loan so many places. I mean, I don't think he's that old either. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sven. I think he's 26, 27 still.
27,
like
27.
Yeah, 27. So it's not like, I mean, to be honest, that some would call that to be a prime age. So PYS, from your perspective, do you think, Chelsea just needs to finish this, and hopefully in this particular transfer window, he just gets the opportunity to leave as well?
Yeah, I think it would be best for all parties. The problem is, that Chelsea have Marina Granovskaya as the negotiator, so and the one who does demand the fees. And we've seen with a lot of, sort of our players that aren't really playing, the likes of Emerson, Alonso, in the past, she's offered, or not offered, she's received offers, that seemed to be good offers, and then she said, no, I want 5 mil more, and then that's that it never really materializes. So hopefully if any offers for Batshuayi do come in, then we will just accept it, because again, it's probably best for all parties that we sort of, part ways now, because clearly he's not in the club's plans. So just sell him for a small fee. The problem is it's yet another kind of L for Chelsea, because we bought him for, I think it was £33 million. So
yeah. He has a good wage, also a good wage. So don't forget that. So for French clubs, it's really difficult outside PSG or Monaco. So
it's definitely hard. If you're Marina, you paid £33 million for this guy, so you're going to obviously want some sort of good feedback. But again, it's hard because he's not played much. Even at Crystal Palace, he was kind of third, fourth choice. You kind of want him to go to a move remember when he went to Dortmund and he smashed it up. That's when you kind of want, maybe you do put him out on another loan, hope he smashes it up, then you sell him. But that's, again, a gamble. That's another year of waiting, another year of hope. So it's very interesting to see what will happen with him.
Yeah, 100%. Man, I actually thought that Dortmund loan wasn't that bad. He actually banged in a few goals for Dortmund. Unluckily, it just didn't work out. Before we talk about Charly Musonda, Sven, a lot of the live chat is absolutely mad about Jeremy Doku. I'm very, very excited about this particular player as well. I know there's been no links about Chelsea and whatnot, but it seems like this particular player is an up-and-coming superstar, especially in the Euros. Looked unbelievable, his pace. Are there any news about Doku from you, Sven, in terms of are there big clubs looking at him closely now, or is he going to just stay put? What's the latest you got on Doku?
Yeah, Doku is going his second year at the French club Rennes, of course. So first season was also very difficult, but he's still very young. He was one of the starlets, of course, of the Anderlecht youth academy, and then he got sold because Anderlecht also need the money. They're also in financial problems at the moment, so that's why they sold him last summer for 70 million. This summer they sold Sambi Lukonga to Arsenal. So Anderlecht is really selling their best youth products every year. So because they needed the money, they made too many debts in the past. So it's a very exciting player. You also saw that at the Euros, of course. And to be honest, all the video analysts they don't have a lot of images from this player. So they just don't know how to handle him. And that is, of course, his biggest advantage at the moment. So there are only 10, 15 games from this young guy to see. And then, it's really difficult, and that's what you also saw at the Euros. He was unstoppable as a winger. So it's a very exciting player, very promising young guy, and I'm sure he will succeed. And of course, Premier League clubs are really watching for him. So, Rennes, also Anderlecht will have some money. They have a clause, so it's a very exciting player. So more to follow soon about him. So because he's already in the Belgian national team, his price has only gone up, of course.
Yeah, now fair enough. Let's talk about Charly Musonda. I think it's a very, very hot topic in Chelsea fan base.
It was just a small joke, to be honest, but no problem.
It actually is interesting to talk about Charly Musonda. I mean, look. It's been an amazing story about Charly Musonda. There's a lot of people that was, it was touted to say that he was probably not going to come back to football. There was like 25% chance to come back from the injury that he suffered. The Chelsea fan base were really excited to see him before pre-season sort of kicked in. His pictures in the gym, he looks like he's bulked up. And then there was, him in pre-season, but he hasn't really featured in any of the matches at all for Chelsea. I personally don't think he's going to have any sort of opportunity this time around. I mean, what's the latest from that perspective from you, Sven? I mean, is it going to be a loan, or are we going to part ways with Musonda? What's the talk from that particular situation? Yeah,
like you said, he's still injured at the moment, and in the past, clubs had some money left that they could do a gamble with those players, but at this moment, also for normally Belgian clubs would always take a player back to their country to get them on loan and then try something. Maybe it could work, but at this moment it's really difficult because a lot of clubs don't have a lot of money to spend, and they're certainly not going to spend it, of course, with injured players. Also, the fans they won't be happy with that if you buy an injured player, of course. But he has a lot of qualities, of course, but don't forget, he's already 24. We're already talking about Musonda for when he was 16 years old as a young, promising talent, and he's already 24. So, I don't think they will. Yeah, I don't know if Chelsea, if they do that, if they extend the contract with 1 year, because they still want to earn a lot of money, that he can't leave the club for free next year. So, but at this moment, it's really going quiet. So he doesn't talk with the press. Also, his environment is very quiet about his move. So. And it's also very difficult with his father and things like that. So he talked a lot of negativity in the past. So it's already for sure that we won't see him again in the first team of Chelsea, of course. And he really has to relaunch his career. It's a pity, it's a shame, and we'll have a documentary about him because it's a very interesting story, but it's also a very sad story, of course, and certainly with his injury. So you don't wish anyone a bad injury like that, but we will see what will happening. So I think he's maybe player number 50 on the squad list of Chelsea. So
wow.
It's just really a pity that it didn't came out. If you see that, so we will see when there's more news this summer. I will report it.
No, 100%. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be such a gamble for other clubs to look at this particular player with the injury history that he has, and already in this preseason, as you said, he's injured again. That's why we haven't seen much of him. Just quickly, Flyers here has put on a particular message. Musonda very interested in Fulham. Have you heard anything from that perspective at all, Sven?
No, it's like I said, it's gone quiet in his environment. They don't talk with the press or other people. So at this moment, it's really difficult to have a source in their environment. So sorry.
No, 100%. PYS, man, thoughts on Charly Musonda? I mean, should the Chelsea fan base just calm down and probably just treat it as another one of those Van Winkle sort of situation where it's probably not going to happen? We're not going to see this guy come back or even remotely come close to the first team.
Yeah, I think it's long gone. I think as well, he's not he's still young, but he's not young anymore. He's not 20, 21. He's like 25, 26. So, I think it's just that there maybe was some hope that he could impress in preseason, but again, he got injured the last few days, and then apparently he had COVID as well. So it's this guy just has no luck. As Sven said, it's just a very sad story, to be honest. Just such a shame because he was such a talent. He really, really was. He was, as well. I remember his loan at Real Betis was very good in terms of his talent, his showcase of talent, and there really was high hopes of him. It's kind of actually, I guess Callum Hudson-Odoi is like today's Charly Musonda, right? He's the new hope for Chelsea. Hudson-Odoi, very talented winger, very fast, good at dribbling, kind of the same thing. We'll have to see what happens with Hudson-Odoi, but with Musonda, it just looks like a very, very sad ending, to be honest, of one of those of what could have been kind of thing,
100%. We want to end the show with obviously talk about Eden Hazard a little bit, but before that, just quickly from you, Sven, Ike Ugbo, I know he's not a Belgian player, but he's been linked to, I believe, Anderlecht. I'm not really sure exactly. Genk, to Genk. I'm not really sure exactly where that situation's at the moment. There was strong talks that he was going to go to Genk. What's the latest? Do you know anything about that particular story?
Yeah, the money was not an issue between the both clubs, I was told, and it was still the player who was settling to come to Genk for the playing minutes, because it's a very interesting team with a lot of young guys. So, but then he scored that goal against Bournemouth, and I think since then a lot of things has changed, and the player maybe thinks he's maybe too good for the Belgium league, and because
just after one header.
Yeah, I'm not a football player, but sometimes, if you score for Chelsea, I can imagine that you think you're too good already for the Belgian league. But in Genk, there's still hope that he comes, but it has gone quiet since a week ago. So because there were also other opportunities, but we will see if it's happening. At the moment, there was no information because everyone at Genk was focusing on their Champions League game tonight against Shakhtar. So, they still have to sell their best striker, Paul Onuachu, for 25-30 million. So he will also probably end up in the Premier League. So, yeah, there's a lot going on at Genk at the moment, but that Ugbo still hasn't decided yet. But yeah, for the money between the clubs, that's no problem.
Is it a good project that's happening at Genk? Obviously, you said that they're in the Champions League qualification. I mean, is there belief that they could possibly make it to Champions League? I mean, Shakhtar Donetsk is a formidable opponent. What's the feel from Genk's perspective?
Yeah, they just lost tonight 1-2, so at home. So yeah, and then they have to travel to Shakhtar on Tuesday. So I think it will be, probably Shakhtar will go through, and then then it's also really difficult, because a lot of players stayed already at Genk to play Champions League. That's also a lot of another extra aspect to sign new players, and also with Ugbo, if you're at Chelsea, you win the Champions League, and then you have to go to a club that doesn't play Champions League anymore. So that's also a difficult case at the moment. So maybe you will end up somewhere else, because I was also interested from West Ham, Frankfurt. So although bigger clubs with more money, of course. Money always talks, not only in the Lukaku deal, but also for players like Ugbo. So we will see what is happening. So it will be very interesting to follow all the actions at Stamford Bridge next week.
100%. All right, let's finish things off with some Eden Hazard news. I mean, this guy, he's left Chelsea, chased his dream, wanted to go to Real Madrid, and has just been hit with injuries after injuries after injuries. There were some rumors that Real Madrid might put him up for sale. There was also rumors that he could possibly come back to Chelsea. I know PYS has some questions about this as well. But Sven, I mean, what's the situation for Eden Hazard at Real Madrid? Is he staying? Is there any possibility that he's up for sale? Would he ever even think about coming back to Chelsea?
For the last question, I don't know, but at this moment, Eden Hazard is not for sale. Everyone in his environment has told Real Madrid that he really wants to stay this summer, because they paid also around 100 million, so also around the fee of Romelu Lukaku, to give an example. So, but like you said, I just saw his statistics: 5 goals, 8 assists in 43 games in 2 years. So that's of course not enough, and he knows that. And also there was a lot of criticism in the past, also during the Euros. To be honest, it wasn't good. He wasn't ready. So nobody saw the best Hazard yet. So and he's still eager to show that, of course. And normally he will stay at Real Madrid, and also Real Madrid, they can't go on the market and find a better player. So they still believe in him, also with the coach. So it's also a pity, of course. And in my opinion, when he came to Real Madrid, he was too fat, and I can't understand that. Of course, I'm not a professional football player, but if you sign for one of your dream clubs, of one of the biggest clubs in the world, you have to be top fit. When you also when you work for a new employer tomorrow, you put on your best jacket and put on your best shoes, and you want to have a good example. It's your first impression is very important, and then he came on too big. So for me, that was also already a huge blow, and I also tell that in other interviews. That's also the reason when Eden Hazard will finish his career, he will probably he will be too fat, of course. And for a lot of people in Belgium, he's an idol. Certainly after the bronze medal in 2018, and after his career, it will be a fat football player. And I can't imagine that. When you love your body so hard, it's your you play football, professional football. You have to love your body. You have to embrace your body. You have to do everything for it. You have to be in top shape. And I just can't. But that's also Hazard, of course. You have to love him. For him, football is just it's just play.
It's just the game. It's just the game for him. Like it's nothing more.
It's no Cristiano Ronaldo, of course. You won't see him with showing his biceps and things like that. So he just does his job, and then he goes to his family. So, but we already know that from Hazard, and we will see. I hope he really focused also on the Euros, of course, and now he had a small holiday after the Euros, and now we can certainly focus on Real Madrid. And we will see what is happening. Also with Thibaut Courtois, he has a good connection with that, and I hope he has a good season also for the Belgian national team, of course, and with the Nations League coming up in October. So, we still want to win that prize with Belgium, maybe our first prize ever. So, then we really need a good Hazard. So I hope he can be fit the next couple of months.
No, 100%. PYS, my man, I know you've been very, look, I mean, your AVI at the moment is of Eden Hazard.
Yeah, so
You're one of those particular fans who wouldn't mind seeing him back. But PYS, what do you have to say about, I think Sven has a point in the sense that Eden Hazard's always been that type of a footballer that probably never took the whole football situation that seriously. And there's been many pundits out there, many journalists, and also previous managers who have said the same thing, that if Eden Hazard was serious, then he would be in the same sort of talking point as with Ronaldo and the Messi out there in the world. What do you have to say about the whole Eden Hazard situation? And also, if you've got any questions for Sven as well in the matter, you can shoot that as well.
Yeah, I could say so much on Hazard. You know, it's still my favourite player, pretty much of all time, along with, I would probably say Drogba, to be honest. Him and Drogba were really the ones. You know, a lot of Chelsea fans will probably expect me to say Lampard and Terry. Of course, I love them too, but obviously, you know, Hazard and Drogba to watch for me were the two. You know, so many live games at Stamford Bridge of him, and just the goodbye in Baku was definitely very, very hard for me to take as all Chelsea fans. And really, I was worried with the future without him. I really was. I was, you know, because we'd never really seen a Chelsea without Hazard, apart from like the old days. So many years ago, because he was here 7 years, right? So it was a long time. He was here, and I do agree with you. I agree with everyone on the fact that he could have definitely been more serious in his career, but. You know, there's quotes of John Terry saying he was the worst trainer, but, you know, given the ball on a Saturday or Sunday, and he was, you know, the best player out there. So that's kind of the guy he was. I wish he was more serious. But again, saying that, you know, broken ankle and stuff at Real Madrid, so many injuries, he can't really help that. He kind of got hacked down. Wasn't really protected as much as he was in the Premier League eventually. And
also at the Euros,
the Euros. Everyone I remember watching him a couple of games where he dribbled past someone, and then the next guy just tried to completely clamp him. It's just it's unfair on him, but that's what, you know, great players get. That's the treatment they receive. So it's obviously a very sad story, but there's still hope in me that he can turn his career around at Real Madrid. And if not, you don't know where he will be in a couple of years. Maybe he'll go back to Lille. Maybe he'll come back to us. We don't know. Because he is getting old now. He's 30 or 31. So,
PYS, one thing for certain though, he's not coming back as a manager. I don't think he cares one bit about managing teams.
He already said he wouldn't go into management. He already said he wouldn't go into management. But I do definitely still see him back here one day. I can 100% see that happening. Like Drogba did when he came back when he was old, you know, and kind of played as like this squad rotation player, and everyone was gassed. Like, I can 100% see that happening with Hazard, 100%.
No, for sure, man. It'll be proper vibes. It'll be proper vibes. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this show. If you've missed out all the conversation about Lukaku, if you've just joined, please check out from the beginning of the stream. We talked literally half an hour worth of conversation about Lukaku. Sven obviously gave his opinion from a Belgium sort of perspective, you know, covering the Belgium news. And PYS, obviously, we've been sort of exploring every sort of news that's been coming out, whether it be Matt Law, Fabrizio Romano, you know, Marzio, whole heap of information that's been coming through. So do check out in the beginning of the stream about Romelu Lukaku. We've also talked about, you know, Batshuayi, Charly Musonda, Ike Ugbo's obviously not a Belgium footballer, but is linked with the Belgium club. And then obviously we've talked about Eden Hazard as well. A little bit about Jeremy Doku, if you're interested. So just go check back. Thank you so much, guys. Before we go, Sven, thank you for all the time you've given me, man. Anything that you want to say, any latest piece that's coming forward from your perspective, I'm more than happy to put in the description as well. But yeah, let me know what's happening from your world.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me tonight. It was a real pleasure. And maybe when the transfer market is ending, maybe I can give some more insight on the Michy Batshuayi and other Belgians. And then I will certainly join you again. Also, thank you, PS, for contacting me. It was a real pleasure. And I hope I had good information. And I wish to thank all the Chelsea fans, because football it's really difficult. Thibaut Courtois had really a good story at Chelsea, but his ending was not so good. Michy Batshuayi also really difficult ending, of course. Musonda, really sad story. So you could make a lovely documentary about Belgians at Chelsea. So but that's football, of course. There's also a lot of luck, but you always have to keep on working very hard, and then we will see what will be in the future. So that's all. Yeah, we will see now with Romelu Lukaku. Like I said, I hope it will happen. So a lot of information is leaking out, but we will see the next couple of 48 hours. Then I think we will know more.
100%. Even Kevin De Bruyne is a sad story for us as well, for him leaving and then becoming a superstar in Manchester City. PYS, my man, thank you so much.
And Thorgan Hazard also.
Thorgan Hazard as well. Thorgan Hazard. Eden Hazard's probably the only up story, and obviously, hopefully, if Lukaku comes back, then that could be the next one. PYS, my man, thank you so much for your time as well, as always. Can we expect a Lukaku compilation from you very soon, PYS?
Well, I wanted a little tease it, but I already have something cooking, if you agree. It's already ready. It's completed. I completed it earlier. But yeah, it's kind of like a coming home video, could you say? If I've kind of got this, I've kind of got this curse on me, this window, that whenever I make comps or a video, the
player doesn't come.
It does, because I actually made like a Hakimi one. He didn't happen. There's been others. I've made Haaland one ready, and that looks like it's not happening. I already have a Kunde one that's ready, so hopefully that happens.
Maybe you could do farewell movies.
Yeah, I do a lot of video editing. So,
PYS, are you telling me that you don't have a Declan Rice one?
I don't
shame
have
on you. Shame on you.
Moment. I actually made remember the Lacroix was mentioned to join Chelsea, right? The centre back from Wolfsburg. I done him, and he didn't happen. So let's see. But yeah, I do have something cooking for sure.
Brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. You've heard it. Smash the like button before you leave as well. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Check out the socials for my guests. It's all in the description. The link is there. All you got to do is just click and follow their Twitter pages, and also Sven's website. It's there. Just go and check out some of his work as well. So guys, thank you so much for your time. We will see you tomorrow, roughly around the 11 a.m. to about 1 p.m. UK time. That's when I generally stream. So do look out for a stream that time. I'm sure we've got a lot more to talk about Romelu Lukaku in the upcoming days. We'll see what happens. So yeah, until next time, everyone, take care and see ya.